Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our parent session. Thanks for coming bright and early today morning. We have two guests here from all the way from Washington. We have Manoj and his daughter Shaila. Manoj grew up in Uttarakhand. He's completed his master's in computer applications from Birla Institute of Applied Science and has an MBA from Smith School of Business, University of Maryland. He has more than 25 years of experience in the software application industry. He's also a runner and health enthusiast. I remember seeing Manoj, during the hot summer months when we are in Epsilon camp, and we're all trying to find cover. He'll be running and finding the hardest treks to do. He's an avid runner. He's involved in many charitable activities in US and India. He's the president of two non-profit groups, the Fairfax Math Circle and Framers Project. And Manoj is someone who really enjoys helping others. I remember during the camp in the evenings when all the parents are tired, he would run the social time. He'll have all the food and drinks ready for all of us. So he's one of those people who's always reaching out and helping people. His daughter Shaila is a junior at Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. So this Thomas Jefferson High School is the number one STEM school in the US. It's a public high school. She's attended residential math camps every summer since fifth grade, except for last year because of COVID. Epsilon Camp was her first residential math camp, and she loved it so much that she wanted to do it every year. And she's then gone on to attend MathPath, Awesome Math, Mathly, and the other programs. And she loves these math camps because she enjoys working with the professors, interacting with the TAs, playing chess and board games, just like all our kids have been doing here online. But luckily, Shaila was able to do it in a residential setup. She runs the local math circle to teach middle school students on weekends. She's an officer in her math team at school. So she's done so much. She's so young, but has already done so much. Welcome, Shaila. Welcome, Manoj. And so happy to
Thank
have you
you.
both here. And Shaila is a very busy junior at high school. We all know how it is in the US, right? Junior year is really critical. Everybody's trying so hard with all their recommendation letters and statement of purposes to get into college. So thank you, Shaila, for taking time off and doing this for us. Over to you, Manoj and Shaila.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, Shaila, you want to go start?
Okay, I will start then. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we'll be presenting on the summer math programs, right? So do you want to talk about the agenda?
Sure. So what we are trying to focus on through this presentation, I should say, is Shaila will talk about the camp she attended, so you get some idea of the camp she has attended and what exactly happens on those camps. And I can go through some popular math camps in US. And these are mostly high school camps, but middle school, some camps allows middle school in these camps. And we'll just go through quickly. Shaila can walk you through the camp life, and I can also talk the parent part, in those camp, what exactly the life is, academic or, when you're not working with professor, what exactly happens. And then at the end, we will do the Q&A, and you can ask really any question. It's very open and casual forum, I should say. So Shaila, it's over to you.
Okay, so residential camps I've attended, and just to note, all of these were in person. I haven't attended an online camp, so it'll be a little different than if you're attending online. So the first camp I attended was Epsilon Camp back in 2015 and 2016. Epsilon Camp is a 2-week summer program for young kids, and it's very open. I think it's a great first experience. You know, you bring your parents along, and you take classes, you interact with other students, professors, you have counselors that will keep track of you, and social activities in the afternoon, evenings. Yeah, there's lots of interaction with everyone, professors, students, parents, even as a student. Next, I attended MathPath, which was a 4 weeks program in 2017, the next year. At that time, you live on your own. There's no parent here. So this is for age 11 to 14. So I was 12 when I went. And so it's just 120 other young kids, and you're doing math for these 4 weeks. You have a bunch of professors, your counselors, and yeah, so you have your classes, your breaks again, and you have a weekend too. So you'll get to go on field trips. You'll have your break time and office hours, structured free time. So it's lots of fun on top of lots of good fun math.
This, I know
The
she's not
next
going in detail. So I just want to say the math path for parents especially. So the first 2 camps she did was with parents. So I was with her, my wife was there, and it's, you have all the support. And when you're going to math path, now you're still 12 years old. First thing, do you want to send your kids alone to a camp for 4 weeks? And during the camp, this is very important. The kids do not miss home much. It's just the parents miss kids. And, she was fine by her own, living in a dorm room. And I think that dorm room was maybe 8 by 4 or 5, maybe, or it didn't have any AC. But she was fine, and she was not allowed to have phone. Phone she used to get just for 10 minutes at night to call home, and that the counselor will take back the phone after 10 minutes, knock the door, phone is back with parents, so kids can sleep well, so they are ready for the next day. Just wanted to give parents a little bit detail on that part.
Yeah.
Shaila, you can go ahead.
Okay, yes, I'll continue. So the next camp I did was Awesomath for 3 weeks the next summer. I was 13 then. This camp, it's for all ages. The other camps like Epsilon was for younger kids, MathPath for a little older, still pretty young kids. Awesomath is for any age really, above. I don't know if they have a lower age requirement, but it's middle and high school kids. So Awesomath, 2 classes, and we did those 2 classes the whole 3 weeks, which was different from the other camps. I think Epsilon had 3 classes the whole 2 weeks too, but MathPath used to have different classes every week. So Awesomath, 2 classes all 3 weeks, and they're all on just you take 2 classes, and those 2 classes are from one of 4 topics. So algebra, number theory, geometry, or combinatorics. And that's different from the other camps too.
And in math path, I remember, so as Shaila said, you have those weekly courses. So you have 2 courses. So there's a choice. There will be a selection of maybe, let's say, total 20 courses running in the camp. And you pick your first choice, second choice, and third choice. So depending on what other people are doing, you will get your choices. And so you are learning 2 different topics every week. So in 4 weeks, they will cover 8 different topics, or sometime you may do a prelim topic and some advanced topic of the same concept.
Yeah. And it's not just these 2 classes. In most of these places, there are guest lectures in the evenings and maybe writing seminars or like learning how to write a proof. That was every day in MathPath. You had a seminar to teach you how to write proofs. So, and there was a history of math seminar in MathPath too. So there are many things that you just have throughout the whole camp. It's not just these 2 classes at MathPath. Okay. Mathlier. So that one I did most recently. That was for 5 weeks, relatively small in comparison to the rest of these, like Epsilon, maybe 100 kids. MathPath had 120 maybe. Awesome Math, larger than that. I don't know how large it was, but definitely larger than 100 kids. Mathlier was 30 kids. So 30 kids, you had your counselor, you had teaching assistants, the TAs, you had your instructors. And these 5 weeks had a similar sort of idea to others, but a bit different in that you would have first 2 weeks, you would be doing just one topic. So first 2 weeks, you would be focusing on something. That's called the root class. So you're getting all your foundations for whatever you want to do in the remaining 3 weeks. So, and then in the third week, you'll do 5 classes of whatever you choose to do your 5 classes on. So there are like tons of different topics. So maybe there's like abstract algebra. There's a class on generating functions, all sorts of things, right? And then the last 2 weeks, you would go into one topic. So like I went into combinatorial game theory, which is pretty specific. There was also a class on, I think, hyperbolic or elliptical geometry. So those last 2 weeks, you go into one topic and you really focus on that. And this camp, you had your classes in the morning. You also had in the evening. And you had your office hours, guest lectures. You had problem sessions where you would work on problems relating to whatever you've covered that day, right? So every day you would also be spending time with that. And all these camps have lots of social time too. So you'll have times for breaks, maybe field trips, all these things. And then in the past, so last summer, I did some research with in computer science with a local university professor on her PhD. So she just got her PhD recently. So I was just researching and looking more into that. She was doing some data science and education, math education actually, research. So that's what I did last year. And then this year I'm going to be doing an internship at a local lab in computer science again, machine learning and stuff. Okay. So
And any question you have, we can definitely go in detail about those camp or any other camps. So I'll just talk popular high school math camps, little bit what I know, and definitely the websites are there. You can find more information about any of these camps from the website. So Shaila, yeah, you can.
Yeah, and feel free to ask questions. Can you wait to questions till the end? We'll be done with this soon. Yeah.
So yeah,
Just
first
write down your questions.
Hold on. So the first awesome math, and these I have just listed alphabetically. This is a 3-week camp. And right now I will look the cost for this online. As Shaila was mentioning, sometimes they run 2 courses mostly. So Awesome Math has these 2 courses. You can right now even take 1 course. And the cost is, depending when you register, it's from 875 to 995 per course. And I was looking how much they teach in 1 course in 1 day. So it's roughly 2.5 hours per course. And out of the camp Shaila did,
Did we lose Manoj?
I think so. Let me
Okay.
check.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm back now. Sorry about that. So yeah, Awesome Math, I was saying these are alphabetically all these camps, what I'm showing here. And you can ask question to Shaila later on, definitely. But Awesome Math was the camp more focus on competition math. It's not that it's easy camp. It's just the focus of the camp is competition math. They have 3 different level, I know. But all the topics also selected, those are focused in math competition. Whereas any other camp, at least the ones I've listed and the ones Shaila did other than Awesome Math, none of those camps are focused in competition math. It's more, okay, you're learning some mathematics, or you're learning how to write proofs, or not just focus on, okay, what can I do better in AMC 8 or AMC 10 or AMC 12 or AMY or IMO.
And just to add on, these these levels in the classes. So the classes, maybe you can take geometry 1, geometry 2, geometry 3. That's the reason why they have such a large age range at the camp too, because you can have older students taking the highest level and younger students taking the lowest.
And this personally, when I look all these camp, this is, both Shaila and my personal view, that Awesome Math is more like a business. It's, they do in multiple location, they take a lot of students, and they make tons of money. So Awesome Math is really, we feel personally, when Shaila and I talk and discuss, we personally feel it's a business. And they do good job for the competition and stuff. It's not that they don't do, they have very good professors, they're very good PAs who are really good in competition. They even get visiting faculty from Hungary or, from other countries. But their focus is more, we feel, making money compared to other camps, what we have listed out there. The faculty is just trying to give this knowledge to the new generation. And that's why the other camps, they do not take many students, they take limited students. And always the math faculty will be there. The cost is more, I feel, because they have to rent a space in the universities and all that. That's why the cost becomes, and right now because of online, the cost is lower. Shaila, you can go to the next point.
Yeah.
So the next one I have listed is the Canada USA Math Camp, and this is very popular camp, and Dr. Thomas is the one who started this camp, Math Path and Epsilon Camp. It's very popular. Right now, I was looking the online cost. It's pretty decent. It's $1,500. But when these camps are in person, I think math camp will be around $4,000 or roughly around that, between 4 to 5, I would say. Shaila, you want to go next point?
Okay.
Yeah, Hampshire College. This is also very popular. I couldn't find their online. They are running right now online, but they had not listed the cost for online program. It's a 6 weeks program, but for their in-person, this is the cost for their in-person program, and it includes your tuition, boarding, and food, and your field trip. What Shaila was mentioning, in weekend they plan to go for field trips. So those type of costs are involved in the tuition. Mathily, this is the one Shaila talked about it. Right now it's running online, and the cost is $2,000. And I don't remember the exact cost when Shaila went, but I'm sure it was between 4,000 to 5,000.
And if you have questions about any specific camps, you can always ask in the Q&A.
Promise, this is another very popular camp. It's 6 weeks. I felt it's a little higher end right now for online. They're charging $2,500. For in-person, I'm sure the cost is around $5,000. Prove It, this is another camp. It doesn't run every year, and it's in Colorado, run by a professor. They were doing it alternate year in last few years. And I think because of the online right now, they're not doing the camp. But I looked online, this was their cost for the in-person program. Stanford University Mathematics Camp, this is, so many of these camp has the age limit. They want the student should be 14 years old or 15 years old or 13, whatever, depending on the camp. And sometimes they have exceptions always. SUMAC has a strict requirement that the student should be in 10th grade or 11th grade. And it's a 3 weeks program. This one I thought is pretty expensive right now for online program for 3 weeks. And I was thinking, is it a mistake or what? But it is, I checked in detail, it's for their online program, they're charging $3,000. And that is pretty high, I feel, for online program. Ross, so this is definitely one of the oldest too. And based on what I know, I think one of the hardest program to get in, Ross program. And it's a 6 weeks online cost is reasonable. It's 1,500. And I'm sure the in-person, it's around between 4,000 to 5,000. So this is the program I've heard is really people are very serious. As Shaila was mentioning, let's say in Mathli and few other camps, there is a structure to build some free time where you are going for field trip and other things. I don't know about every program, but I know the Ross program I heard. This program doesn't plan any of those type of things. There are people who are really serious about math, and it's one of the hardest also I personally feel to get in.
And to add on, the Ross program is completely focused on number theory.
And this,
Okay.
I just copied from the website, a typical day at SCSSIM. So you can just, I'm not going to read out, but you can quickly see what really happens on these program. And especially these are high school program. So the epsilon and math path doesn't allow, I'm just giving you examples. So if you look in the line from third from the bottom, it says problem session. So high school program, and it's very typical, I remember in Shaila's Mathli, they used to have problem session from 7 to 10 or something like that. I think it was 7 to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So at
7.
night, they will have these problem session for 3 hours, and then they will have 1 hour to hang out, and then they are going to bed. Whereas if you're going to a math path that is for younger students, they don't have any problem sessions late at night. Basically, I think by 10 o'clock, your
Yeah,
light has to be switched
there's
off.
a curfew at 10.
Yeah, curfew is 10 o'clock. So depending on where you are, which program you're going. But high school, wherever the high school students are, then they go to bed late. There's relaxed rules.
Okay.
Thank you, Manoj and Shaila. Oh, you have more. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this is just a quick, I think this can even come to the question Q&A would be better. This, she was just going to repeat and tell few things about, the camp life. I think it would be better.
Yeah, I think we can go to the
we
Q&A.
take the Q&A, and that way it's much better.
I thought it was very insightful that you also talked about the social aspect of it, because when you talked about the middle school camps where there's a curfew, and then the high school camp where it's a little bit more free. I think all those insights are very useful. These are things that you don't get on a website, but parents have to know, because then they'll know how comfortable they are, especially when they have to ship their children across the oceans for such camps. So that was very
Oh, yeah, they
insightful.
have to be definitely independent.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to mention is most of those camps you saw, I don't know about the Awesome Math, and all those camps have some grants. They do give a scholarship, and mostly it's a need-based scholarship. In US, there's no culture of merit-based scholarship. It's most of the places you get need-based scholarship. So many of these camps do provide need-based scholarships.
Okay.
And I think, sorry,
go ahead,
just to
Shaila.
add on, I think that most of these, all of these really take international students too. So, of course, so.
Yeah. We've had some students attend Math Path, and there's one from Epsilon this year who's going to be attending Math Path this summer online. Um, Shaila, before we open to questions, I just wanted to take a step back and ask you, what did you get out of these summer programs personally? I mean, the fact that you've been attending this from fifth grade, how has that helped you?
Yeah, so I think that it made me, first of all, it got me more into math. When I was much younger, you know, I went to a public school, right? So I didn't have as much at school with all this math, and getting introduced to seeing that there is so much more to math. And every year it was something that you can learn more every year. And yeah, I think it got me much more into math and seeing the details of math that you never really get to see at a younger age, typically.
Mm, thank you. Um, there were a couple of questions on the chat, but whoever wants to ask, if you want to just raise your hand and ask, that's fine too. There's one question from Shresht. Are there credits given in college applications for these camps?
No, no,
So,
definitely not.
so credit is definitely no. And college application is so tricky, I would say. Means the camp really is one variable. And there's so many variables, so it's very hard to even, some people say, okay, if I do the Ross camp, let's say, I'm just giving example, can I get into a very top school? And that answer is kind of no, because college application is becoming very subjective. Uh, it has been subjective, and it's even more going forward, I feel. Um, and Shaila was sharing some of the results from her school, means from her school, as you were mentioning, it's the number one STEM school. Usually, um, every year, 12 kids go to MIT every year from her school. But this year, I don't know how many there is, means she doesn't know accurate number. But it's very hard. She said few of the students who are really good in math, they didn't get their top choices. So top, when you talk about the top college, I feel it's a lottery too. And many parents feel means that way. Um, unless someone is in the US team, math team, that's a different story, but getting there is very hard to. So um, other, it's very hard because there's so many variables.
So Shresh,
So,
that's the
sorry, can I just ask?
yeah, please.
It's more of a comment and a question. So, the unlike in India, where the college admission depends purely on academic excellence, I think that is where the major difference is, right? In college admissions in US, the academic excellence, like Manoj said, is just one of the indicators, and they might be looking at a lot of other indicators. So uh, this is not just enough to get into a good college, right?
Yeah, this is, I feel, I mean, Shaila really loved, means every summer she even didn't feel that it's a study. So it was more like a vacation going to these camps. Um, and I know briefly, and if people are interested about the college, because I will give a quick one. The college really has so many variables. The most important, I would say, in US for the college is your GPA, your school grade from ninth to, when you're applying, that is mid of the 12th grade. That is the most important I would say, the fuss. Then definitely you have other, did you take the challenging courses? Because in high school in US, you can take different courses. It's not a fixed curriculum. Depending on what you have done, there are some prerequisites. You can take advanced courses. So they try to look, okay, did you challenge yourself based on what was available to you? And just based on academic, definitely the kids cannot get into top colleges. Then they start looking the community work, and there's so many factors. Then standardized tests, then definitely your recommendation from the teacher, school teacher. That's an important part. So yeah, it is hard to tell which one will factor. Then it's your own essay, the one you are writing, and that makes the difference too. So many variable compared to in India. Let's say if you want to get into IIT, you prepared or you did really well and you are in. Here it's depending on which area you live. Let's say, I'll just give you an example. Let's say if someone is in Delhi, that kid has a lot of more opportunity than a kid growing up, let's say, my hometown or any small city in India. So in US, what they do is they give advantage to the kid who didn't have any opportunity, but he did well based on whatever opportunity that kid had. So they try to look many factors. So it becomes very subjective and human process than, a test that you pass.
Thank you, Manoj. Anyone else would like to go for a question? You can do a raise hand. Until then, I have a question.
Sure.
So for most of these camps are financial aids given, like need-based scholarship. You said that it's available for some of the camps. Is there any camp where it is not available, and how how frequently do you see students from India or from other countries coming to these camps?
So Shaila, you want to share your experience, and then definitely I'll share the financial part.
I think there have been international students at every camp I've attended. Even Mathily, which had 30 students, there were international students there. I think MathPath had a student from India. I can't remember exactly. Maybe Awesome Math. I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely possible to apply and come. There are definitely other international students.
Yeah, MathPath, I think most probably because I remember discussing with Dr. T, and it was a girl from, most probably reference from from Mumbai or somewhere, I don't remember. Dr. T mentioned one time that, he gets some good student referred by Vinay from India.
Yeah, and on to the financial aid part too. I think all of these camps definitely have financial aid.
I think every camp, I would say,
Every camp,
have,
definitely.
Yeah, financial aid is all the camps. Awesome Math also should have, even though I feel that is more business compared to other camps, I was saying. But I have seen MathPath, Epsilon, Canada, USA camp,
Really, all of them should have.
Yeah, every camp has some money. And sometimes they may not give the full, they may give 50% or depending on the situation.
Thank you.
We had a
Uh,
question from Manas Joshi's father.
okay.
Yeah, I
Dilip,
think
yeah.
it's really nice to hear from Shaila and Manoj both. They're sharing their experience over the last 5-6 years, and it's all a capsule given to us to help us to understand this overall process from the child's perspective as well as from the parent's perspective. So it's really nice. Thank you very much, first of all. Just a different question, one for Shaila and one for Manoj. So Shaila, given a chance, if you revisit your, say from 2015 onwards, summer vacations, will you change any of those vacations for yourself?
Vacations or the camp?
The summer camps, basically. Yeah, the summer vacations which you mostly spent on the camps. And now if you are given an opportunity to revisit that, would you make any change in those summer vacations and camps put together? Would you like to spend your summer in a different way? Just
No, I would definitely spend it at the camps.
okay.
Think if there's something, maybe I would say that you should connect more with the kids that you meet there. You definitely see them later on too. When I compete in my, like I have a math team, I'm an officer in that. So you might see people that you've met from the camps before. So that's always fun.
That's very, very encouraging to hear. So just another related question to Shaila, like I'm sure the friends that you get in school and the friends which you get at camp, again, school, you may have that focus group, you may not have. Many times you don't get that kind of a focus group in terms of their liking about maths or any particular topic. But in camps, that's a better opportunity. So how do you find that helping you in these last 5 years or so?
Well, I'm very lucky to have, I go to a very good school right now, where I'm definitely not the only person who likes math. My math team has more than 50 consistent kids who come every week. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's very, very great school. But I would say that those kids that you meet, when you don't have, so like before this school that I go to right now, I didn't have anyone else that liked math at my schools. And meeting other kids, and you can later compete in other competitions. Let's say they're online competitions. You can compete with those kids because there's no location boundary. So even though they might live across the country, across the world, right? You can compete in online competitions with them, practice with them if you want.
Okay. Just a last question from my side on Manoj. So Manoj, again, thanks for sharing. And just a question as a parent, because typically summers, you get a lot of time for children to explore many other areas, which typically are not available because of the time constraint when the school is on. So when we have this summer time and the child is focusing on one area, do you think, how do you look at the holistic development of children? Because as they are growing through various ages, their needs are different, and how to handle that vis-a-vis single focus of one particular area of their liking?
Yeah, sure. So let me give you some background, and that will give you so the idea of focusing on just one thing is so what we did is Shaila got these opportunities of going to the camp. Kind of she loved it, the experience. So we are like, okay, you can go enjoy. As she was saying, her high school is very good. She's fortunate to go to that high school, and that has kids like who make to the US team also sometime. And but the school she went previously, so our focus was, okay, math anyway, she does it. So we wanted to send her to a school where it's more liberal art focus. So as Shaila was saying, she didn't have any kid in her school for math, right? So the school she went from 6th, 7th, 8th grade, we purposely put her in a school where she gets more exposure to humanities. So she gets the appreciation. So what she saw is there were kids who were writing literature when they were, let's say, at 6th grade, they were writing at the 12th grade level. So she was able to see those type of things. So I think that's how she got some appreciation of the other side. In general, I say the summer vacation or the spending time towards one, I personally feel kids should be well-rounded. And that's what we try to focus overall. But camp is, she enjoys and she gets to go. And now anyway, because of the pandemic situation, it's more online, and she doesn't like online that much for math. So she didn't go last year, but she was able to spend some time on research.
And if I may jump in to answer Mr. Joshi's question as well, I think for some kids, math is like a tool for their social and emotional growth. It's almost a need. I've seen kids who wait, for the whole year to come for camp for those 2 weeks because they meet,
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah. So they literally, you can see them open up during, the 2 weeks of camp. And then they become more social, and they're able to do presentations. So math is almost a tool. For different children it's different thing. For some it's music, some it's art, some it's writing. For some children it's almost like a need that they have to come for these camps. So I've had friends tell me, why are you doing this every year? You're torturing him with math camps. But it was actually
Math
more
camp was
torture for
fun.
me, because I have to go stay with him for 2 weeks. But the children really, they just flourished these 2 weeks in summer. So I just wanted to give you that bit. We have
Yes,
Yeah, and
every.
questions.
yeah,
Go ahead,
Shaila.
Shaila. Yeah.
I was just going to say every kid loves it at the math camps. Everyone loves math, and everyone loves interacting with other kids who love math. So that's always good, and it's a good
And
environment.
yeah, I just wanted to add is the years I get to go with Shaila, or even later on with my son also, those were really good time to see meeting with many other parents and building those relationships. I'm in contact with many parents, even Chintu, uh, you know, from that camp that we have built the relationship and we are in touch. Uh, and it was like a vacation, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Questions?
Aditya's mother.
Thank you, Shaila and Manoj. It was very good. And with respect to Manoj, I was totally struck by the way you have really taught how much liberal arts is also important. I've put in a school, too much of thought process have gone in. That was amazing. And I have one question that was just from the start, it was just lingering back of my mind is, okay, we are all residentials of India. And in India, the summer vacation is April to May for South India. North India, it is May to June. And then I think in US, it is around June to July. Am I right? So I just wanted to know, when does these camps in the month of the year happens?
Yeah,
The
mostly, yes. So most of the schools' summer vacation in US is from mid-June to almost end of July. Sorry, end of August. End of August. And these camps are mostly, they start June 23rd or around that third, fourth week of June. And depending on if it's a 6 weeks or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they will run. And some camps, like as I was saying, Awesome Math, that looks like more business to both of us. That has multiple sessions. They will start one session and then they will start next session. They have multiple locations. Yeah, so it's mostly, I would say, around end of June, and they start.
Okay. Thank you. So I think we have to, probably, I think there are certain other steps which parents have to look into in the logistics. Or now it is online. I think we have to see how this can be aligned along with the schools and other stuff. Is there some kind of a flexibility like Awesome Math has? Of course, business, so they have more flexibility in terms of 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
And one thing I would say, I know someone asked the question, the college admission, right? I do not, means I've been researching for Shaila, the college stuff is coming now. I personally do not believe that any camp you do that guarantees you to admission to a top school, top university. That is definitely not true. Based on all the stuff I hear from other parents or based on my research. Basically, one thing cannot guarantee to top colleges, means state to school is different thing, but when you're talking about the top US colleges, it's very hard to pinpoint one thing that, okay, this kid did this particular thing and that he got into school because of that, unless that kid is in like India team or the US team, that's just 6 kids, right? So that's a different story. Other things, I think there's so many factors when it comes to college admission in US.
Thanks.
If I may just add on to something to Aditya's mother. So most Indian students who attend these programs, they skip school and they go and attend, even in high school. So we have had even 10th graders who miss their school. I mean, I'm saying 10th grade because 10th grade is a big thing in India, right? So 10th and even 11th grade students, they miss school and they attend these programs there. And we have 2 such parents in today's talk as well. I'm sure you can connect with them. Pallavi ji, Sai's mother and Hetvi's mother, both Hetvi and Sai had attended Math Path. So you can later connect with them. Yeah.
The Math Path is a great program. Yeah. Because you are in an environment, supported environment, and you are independent too. Means the counselor, because the age is the kids are younger, so the counselor is always with them. Then they don't get phone, and at night they have to be inside the room. It should be dark. They should be sleeping by 10 o'clock. So there are a lot of rules in Math Path.
But it's
and
still
those are, I feel, good rules.
Yeah, it's still very independent. You have check-in times, but you can't leave the building. Maybe you can only wander nearby, but you can go to the lounge areas, play games, maybe play with the ball outside. You just can't go very far from the area.
Thank you, Shaila. There was one question that came to me on chat, and this is for Shaila. sorry, Aditya's mother, I hope your question is answered.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, thank you. I got the answer. Thank you.
So the question that a parent had is when you get international students from other countries, especially for the high school camps, are students quite well? Do they welcome the students in US? How do they find, as in, do they find it difficult to uh, uh, to interact with students, as well as students from other countries? Do they feel very comfortable with, because it might be their first experience, and especially in high school? So how is the experience over there for international students?
Well, I think, I mean, I don't have the perspective of an international student, but I think that we're very welcoming. It's you're just another student, really, who's maybe not from a local area, but you have different experiences, and that's interesting, cool. Yeah, I think that you're all one group, right?
Yeah, I think what happens is because the students who are from here also, they don't know each other because they're coming from different state, different. So it's very rare to find that two friends are in the same camp. They are there. It's not that common. So everyone is kind of unknown to each
These-
other, and they're
these
just meeting
camps-
there.
These camps are from all across the country. So like 30 students from across the country, international. So where you're from, I don't think that's a huge, everyone's from somewhere different.
Sure. Thank you. Hari had a question. So Hari, I couldn't introduce Hari earlier. Hari is our head of academic affairs for Raising a Mathematician Foundation. He's also the co-founder of Raising a Mathematician Foundation. Right now in Michigan, just completed his PhD in management accounting. Hari.
Hi, Shaila and Manoj. It was really great listening to your experiences. I asked Vinay how old is Shaila because I joined a bit late. So you have a fantastic profile. So all the best when you are applying for college. The question that I wanted to ask was, these camps are for 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Uh, do you continue doing nothing after the camp and then go back to another camp next year? So how do you keep that momentum? Because one of the challenges that most of the students face is once the school starts, they don't have any time at all, and then they lose whatever was learned in the camp, and they don't continue reading things that are beyond what was required in the camp. So how did you go about that?
I would say at the start I wasn't too great at this either, but I have found myself maybe sometimes looking back at the notes, I might have something that, oh, this reminded me of something I did last summer or maybe a few summers ago. And I'll look back at my notes and see what I did or studied at the time. You always have good notes from when you did the program. And at the time, of course, you can always do more math problems throughout the year. I think competition math is something that a lot of people, especially at these camps, that's how they do math throughout the year, just to keep in contact with math.
I think Shaila is for high school, for her current situation, I would say she is in a school where there's a lot of math other than the school math, because her math team is very active. They used to do sessions. This year because of pandemic they didn't do, but for ARML they used to meet for a few months after the school, 3 hours, 6 to 9 or
Even this
10.
year, we've been meeting 6 to 8 every Thursday for the past few months.
So
And that's
it's
50 kids.
so yeah, her school has many kids into STEM and definitely in math. And it's a very active club, active math club. And because it's a specialized public school, so there are many good math kids are in one place. So they are able to do a lot of math throughout the year. But the question you asked, really, that's a very good question. And I've seen that with Shaila, or I've heard this from other parents also, that the continuation after the camp is always difficult. And I think there are very few kids you will find who really do throughout the year, progress from that content if they just follow that and work on it. And that percentage is, you will find, is lower.
Hari, is your question answered? Can we move on?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I was not aware that.
No, that's Savita.
Hi, good evening, Manoj and Shaila. It's lovely to listen to you. I had one question. I'm not certain how well you would be able to, give some this to it, but I wanted to understand. So I have a child who is homeschooled currently, and I wanted to understand, you were talking about, that the college admissions process is very subjective, and there are a lot of factors, like what one of the most important factors is your GPA from grade 9 to 12, etc. So do you know, or do you have experience of interacting with homeschoolers and how it differs for them when it comes to building a profile?
Means US, it's very common homeschooling. So many students do homeschooling. But here, what they have to do is every year they have to submit their records to the state. I don't know what are the rules in India. So they take some standardized tests and give the report. The homeschoolers, compared to the people who are going to school, they have to document, I feel, a lot of things more, what exactly they did, from where they are taking the courses, what courses they are taking. So in US, what many of these kids do is they will take the AP tests. So
Right.
another way of showing that you have done the mastery of that subject, right? But if you look online, you will find many forums of homeschoolers I know in US.
Right.
And you can really ask questions and they can answer you better, I feel.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know, but the AP and AP scores do matter or help, but thank you so much.
Okay. Any more questions? Yes, Dr. Medha.
Yeah, I asked a question in the chat. If you can see that.
Yeah, just a minute. Okay, so which school district are you part of?
School district. So I'm part of Fairfax County. It's by county, so it's pretty specific, but Fairfax County Public Schools. It's just the public school system.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a government school. So in US, I know in India, when we say the public school is like really a private schools. In US, the public schools are the government schools. And the school Shaila is attending is, they call it magnet school. So what they do is they have entrance exam. It's like a college application, not that detailed, but it has entrance exam, and then it has the essay portion, and it needs a recommendation from your 7th grade. So it's the whole competitive process to get into that school. And only few counties kids can go to that school. And I know few Indian families from other states sometime move to our area so the kids can attend this school. If you look the Newsweek ranking of US high school, that's the #1 school right now. It's
Yeah,
been for many years.
yeah, I think actually the US news ranking actually just came out
Yeah.
recently, and it's
And
number one
many
again.
people, what they do is from Indian community, or I should say Asian community, because Chinese, Koreans, they all are more focused on education. And so they know this school is good. So they try to move to this area in Northern Virginia to attend that school. And there are a lot of political stuff is going right now, because the school has roughly, I think, 70% Asians from last few years. And that may change going forward.
Okay, which grade is she in now? Which grade are you in, Shaila?
11th.
11th. Okay. I just wanted to understand your path, because you did put out that you started Epsilon in 2015.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to understand, which grade you are in now. Okay. So you joined your Epsilon camp when you were in grade 6, is it?
Yes,
Or grade
before
5?
6, before grade 6, and
In
yeah,
the summer of, let's say, after 5th grade, summer
between 5th
vacation,
and
during
6th.
that time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All the best.
Medha, you had a question?
It's very fascinating listening to their entire journey. I had one query. In between two camps, you had mentioned that maintaining the momentum is very difficult. But do the current Epsilon organizers have any ideas of how to keep this going?
I didn't get the question. I couldn't follow
More
the
for
question.
Vinay.
I think we can take this question offline. We can use this forum for interacting with Manoj and Shaila.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. So, Hari, would you like to share something before we close?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Manoj and Shaila, for taking out time and sharing about the math camps that are available in US and Canada. I think many parents would have got some good insights and good information about how they can, use these opportunities for their kids, because of course this is just the beginning of the many camps that their kids will attend. So this was very good information, because a lot of this soft information is not available on the website. The website will only tell you what's the fees, how much is the duration, and all the basic information. But getting insights from the parents and the student is something really useful and important, and that normally is not what the parents and the students get. So thank you so much for taking out your time
Oh,
and
you're welcome.
talking to us.
I think one thing I want to add, I just remembered, and it's important for parents. So when you're looking for the camps, don't go by the university, because university, let's say there could be a camp at MIT, and the way they will advertise, they will say this camp is at MIT. And in US means all the big universities have camps, but the organization could be someone running camp at MIT. They have just rented a space at MIT. So definitely, if you're coming international, you will do more research. But I just wanted to warn that many good top universities have camps, but those camps are not maybe their camp. Someone is just renting a space in that university and running a camp.
Okay, thank you so much once again, Manoj and Shaila. And if you have a couple of minutes to stay back after this meeting, that will be great. Is that okay?
It was our pleasure. Means it's good.
Thank you all. Thank you all parents for joining in for the last parent session. We look forward to the other sessions today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.